let's listen to Ms. Homestead Hart talk about how to can some rice.
4 ways, and I'm going to show you. So let's go ahead now and get to it. All right, you all. So the first thing is that I have my.
I think I was one that I made. He got me out of the matrix.
I should have been had my apron on. I forgot to put it on. Family, just quite honestly, I was talking to my husband this morning about how I have to do better and stop procrastinating, because I feel like I've been procrastinating and getting this project completed, and all it ends up doing is hurting me and my boys, because there's so many other things I could be doing right now instead of canning this rice that I could have canned a couple of days ago. So this is a process that I've seen done on YouTube by Miss Homestead Hart. I don't know if she would ever watch one of my videos, but I absolutely love her channel and watch it all the time.
Tell me who I am. Tell me who I am. As I begin to read the scriptures, it all came together for me. Someone's been lying through their teeth. They've been misleading and twisting prophecy. I can see that my people is at the bottom of the barrel.
Next step is to get the rice ready. I just figured out that I have a 26-quart Presto canner, and this canner will hold 10 regular mouth pint-sized jars. So I'm only going to do this one time, this processing only one time. So I'm just only going to make 10 jars as opposed to the 12 that I initially bought. So I'm about to measure out 5 cups of parboiled rice and then wash it. Now I'm about to take it over to the sink and wash it to make sure we release as much starch as we can before we put them in our jars. So take it to Daddy. Daddy will help you. Daddy will open it for you. Go ahead, take it to Daddy. So as you can see, I'm just washing the rice in cold water, and it's a bit cloudy, so we're going to wash it until it runs a little bit more clear than it is now.
See Mom's washing the rice. See?
I will let you wash it, but your hands got the coots. Alright, so you can see just how cloudy this water is. Just going to use our sieve here. And I'm going to pick out any abnormally looking pieces. Okay, just found this right here in there. So I'm going to look in for stuff like this. I'm going to take that out and I'm going to rinse it again. Alright, so this is rinse number 3. Still finding those little ones with the black stains on it. It looks really good now. This will be the last rinse. You can actually see the rice very clear through the bottom. I would encourage you to take your time when you're washing your rice, because This is the 4th time, I believe, and I'm still finding rice that have these black marks on it. So don't be in a rush. All right, I think we're good. We're good enough now. Why are you smiling anyway? We're white.
Bad.
Thanks, honey. Your stuff about to crash. All right, family, now that the rice has been washed, I'm going to go ahead and get our jars filled. I decided to just do chicken naan powder to season the rice, and I'm going to be putting a 1/2 cup of rice in each jar. It's very important that you level off the top. You'll see me do that because you don't want to put extra rice, because we know rice expands, and we want to be sure that it doesn't expand too much for the size of the jars that we're using. All right, let's get going. So I'm using 1/2 cup here. It's got 1/2 cup of rice on the inside. I'm just going to pour the rice in. And I'm going to do that for each jar. Last jar. Now I'm going to go through and add in the chicken naan that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon to each jar. I pretty much use this seasoning on everything when I cook, so it may seem like it's a bit much, but whenever I cook it with something, it'll just add more flavor. You want to leave a 1-inch head space on each jar.
An Israelite along the way, from an Israelite along the way. Tell me who I am. I've been searching for so long, I don't understand.
Our last jar, we're going to fill it with some water. Again, we're just going to the 1-inch head space on the jar. I'll just check in to make sure I got that 1-inch mark. If I might need to add a little bit more water, I'll do that now. So I'm just going to give each jar a Stir. Make sure that the rice is completely surrounded by the water. So this would be something that literally I would start any meal with, whether it be a chicken noodle soup or something we used to make back at home was rice and tomatoes. So I would just open this up and add in some stewed tomatoes, and that's a meal right there. So I was thinking about adding some vegetables to this too, just to kind of have it already in there, but I didn't this time. I might next time I do this in the future. Alright, this is the last jar. Just stirring, make sure everything's incorporated in there good. You can see how flavorful this broth is, so it's going to be a good flavor boost and starter whenever you get ready to cook a meal. Next, I'm going to clean off the rims of each jar with a little bit of vinegar. Wipe around, make sure there's no leftover grains of the seasoning or just anything that could be on the rim to prevent it from sealing. And then I'm going to add our lids in the rings.
Listening to this preacher, what a disgrace. Something feels so different from what I heard yesterday. From an Israelite along the way. An Israelite along the way. From an Israelite along.
When you put your rings on, make sure you only do fingertip tight. Alright, now we're going to mosey on over to the canner.
Tell me who I am. Tell me who I am. As I begin to read the scriptures, it all came together for me. Someone's been lying through their teeth. They've been misleading.
Alright, family, I'm about to seal put the lid on top. Make sure I got it all lined up. Put it on here, and I'm gonna get it heated up. So I've set it on high, and I'm going to let it come to a complete boil on the inside, which is going to mean that the pressure is building up on the inside of the jar. This little part here, once the pressure starts to build up, it's going to pop up so that I know that there's pressure in there. What will happen is the steam will start to vent from here, and once we get a steady stream of steam coming out, I will let that vent for 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, I'm going to come back and put 10 pounds of pressure on here for the altitude that I'm currently at. After I've put the pressure, the weight on there, it'll come back up to pressure again, and then I'll set a timer for 15 minutes to get these cans of rice processed. Now we have the steam venting. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's like all the way up here. You can see how it's coming. Yeah, you can see it really good. So this needs to vent for 10 minutes, and then after the 10 minutes is up, I'll come back and add the weighted gauge on there so that it can start being processed. All right, family, so my timer is going off, and it's still venting, of course. And I have my weighted gauge here of 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Of course, stop my timer too. And I'm going to let this build up pressure again so that it starts getting that back and forth wobble that it gets. So once it starts wobbling back and forth, I'll start adjusting the temperature. And once we get a good shake, I'll start the timer for 15 minutes of processing. All right, family. So now I have the weight is rocking back and forth. So I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes to get these processed.